Good evening, YouTube community, sports fans, nation, and worldwide. You've entered the Sports Opinion Log. I'm your host, Lex Anderson, and in tonight's video, I will be wearing the black hat. Why? Because depending on what I say, you might find me a hero, or you might find me a villain. But I finally did it. I released a video earlier about the Patriots and the conspiracy theory for them getting back to the Super Bowl. And in tonight's video, I have finally did my research. I followed the money trail, and I will be telling you Saints fans, New Orleans fans, I found the money trail as to why the NFL and Roger Goodell, with my sure shovel pass, screwed you guys over to make sure that the Rams get to the Super Bowl. Okay, so first and foremost, if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can at Mr. Fifth Avenue. Link is in the bio below. And I've been looking at various footage angles where you see one of the line judges waving off the African American uh, referee to not throw the flag, to hold his whistle. So, was it a screw job? The answer is yes. The NFL, Roger Goodell, the powers that be, those would be the powers that be. Those are the movers and shakers behind the scenes that dictate who wins and who loses. Because there's big time money involved. And New Orleans, with all due respect, after Hurricane Katrina, the NFL did come to your rescue. Mercedes Benz built you a brand new Superdome. You opened it up on Monday Night Football, and you had Green Day, and there was another band, but Green Day sticks out because they were the hottest band at the time. So I did my research to find out why. Why were you New Orleans Saints fans? Why were you screwed out of the golden opportunity to get to and potentially win the Super Bowl? Well, here's the answer. The answer is Roger Goodell and the NFL, the owners, the powers that be, they're all about money. They don't care that they don't care that you want the Saints to be in the Super Bowl. All the money has to go to the Rams to accommodate their new stadium. Now, don't get me wrong, that stadium will be shared by the Rams and the Chargers, but it was the Rams owner, first and foremost. His name is Stanley. Where's your name? Stanley Kroenke. Okay? Stanley Kroenke was the one who moved the Rams from their beloved city of St. Louis. Remember St. Louis Rams and Nelly? Remember that? Angele, Angele, Mama, uh-oh. What's poppin' tonight? Okay, so a quick history lesson for those of you who do or don't know. The Rams were originally based out in LA in 1946, where they stayed until 1994 when they then moved to St. Louis and were known as the St. Louis Rams, aka the greatest show on turf from 1995 to 2015. But of course, Stanley had brought a lot of land out west. So he ultimately decided that he needed a bigger market and took his team. They packed up with the moving trucks and the trailers and they went out west because there's gold up in their mountains. And not gold in terms of a 49er having to shift through dirt. No, there's gold in terms of the market, the advertising, and more importantly, those PSLs, those personal seating licenses. Yeah. So let's get down to it. And this is what I uncovered here. Earlier last year, Roger Goodell made a pledge to the owners for the NFL to have $25 billion in revenue by 2027. Currently, the NFL is at $13 billion. So how do you get an extra $12 billion when you've already saturated the markets with the TV coverages? You have the Thursday night game. We have Saturday playoff games. We have games over in London now. Where does the extra money come from? The extra money comes from, you guessed it, moving a team to another city. So when the Rams moved from St. Louis out west to LA, the value of the team doubled to $2.9 billion dollars. Now, not only does that boost the value of one team, it boosts the value of all the other teams as each team respectively received a valuation boost of 20% per team. And the $650 million dollars that the owner had to pay for the relocation fees, guess who gets a cut? That's right, the owners, the white man. It's all about money. So here's something new if you didn't know. In March 27th of this year, the NFL owners actually voted to increase the debt limit for the Rams' new stadium to $4.963 billion dollars. That's correct. The value or the cost of building this glorious monument is approaching the $5 billion mark, which is way more costly than the initial cost of $2.6 billion. And here's the kicker: it's privately financed. So clearly, for once the taxpayers aren't on the hook for it, but you best believe the big businesses that are funneling all this money into the Rams want to see some dividends. And the only way you could give them dividends is how? Holler if you hear me. That's correct, folks. Making sure that the Rams get to the Super Bowl. Now, will they win the Super Bowl? You'll have to come back and check on a later video for that in regards to the profit and my predictions for the Super Bowl, which will be coming this weekend. Now, all that land that Stanley had brought out there is 300 acres worth of land, which will be holding retail and office space, hotels, a park, and modern residences. So look at this. You have a team, right? A team, the Rams, moving, setting up shop on land that the NFL team's owner owns. Look at this. They're rolling in the money. Now, those wonderful PSLs, well, good news. If you're a Rams fan, that'll be costing you $100,000. If you are a Chargers fan, they only want $75,000. And the purpose of these PSLs is to supposedly serve as a 50-year deposit to fund the cost of the construction, which of course you will be refunded that entire amount after the 50 years. So if you have a PSL, I would advise you to write it in your will to your family. That way, in 2075, 2080, you can have the privilege of owning your own personal seat in the glorious new NFL stadium that's being built. How about them apples? Now, let's not forget that the Raiders, who have screwed over their Oakland fan base to move into their fancy new dig, which still isn't even open yet, so they're currently homeless, believe it or not. And again, where does the money trail lead? Why are the Raiders setting up shop in Las Vegas, which before was deemed no way, no pro teams in Vegas due to sports betting, but the white man will never miss out on an opportunity to earn and receive your hard-earned dollar or a dollar period. The money given to Mark Davis to move the Rams to Las Vegas, guess where they got the funds from? That would be from the hotel taxes that you pay when you go out to Las Vegas to walk along the strip in the desert like you're having a grand old good time. So that amount would be $750 million in hotel taxes, money that was originally appropriated to do things like, building an irrigation system so there's water out there in the desert, or maybe finance schools and city services. But there's no need for that. Why help the average citizen when you can keep the money in-house and just continue to build on the generational wealth that white people already have established by making sure that money is given to the NFL so they could talk about bringing jobs to the city, jobs to the community. It's great for the economy. They stay lying, giving the same tired line. But you best believe, here in the Sports Opinion Log with Lex Anderson, I'm going to be here to break it down and read it off to you the true, real fans who are hurting, who are dismayed, who are disgusted, who are wondering, how could this happen to me? Why is this happening to my team? That we're being screwed over by the NFL. Because, like I said before, the NFL already took care of you guys. You got the stadium. You got the Super Bowl over the Colts. There's a new influx of money coming in, and we have to create the perfect storm to make sure that that money is allocated to the big spenders, the big investors, and the big financiers that are the true movers and shakers. Trust and believe, folks. We, the fans, would like to believe that we have power because we buy merchandise like my wonderful, terrible towel, or my new era fitted cap, or my Nike on field authentic team jacket. But at the end of the day, that's pennies on the dollars. Pennies on the dollar because the real movers and shakers are the ones that dictate and control the outcomes of the game. And speaking of control, I think I'm spinning out of control with all this information, but I've done my best. Do the right thing. Share this video. Subscribe to this channel. The bell icon, it's right there to your right. Ding! Make sure you press it to stay updated of any and all upcoming future videos. Because trust and believe there will be more, and you definitely want to be here when I, the prophet, will decree my predictions for the winner of Super Bowl 53. That's of course as long as they don't leave it into the hands of the judges, being the zebras, who are also controlled puppets in the grand scheme of it all. Until next time, this is Lex Anderson doing what I do best with a wave of the towel and a pop of the jacket. I'm signing out. What you think? You thought it'd stop because of the end of this video? Hell no. We're just getting started. But speaking of start, you know who keeps it going? That guy on the gram, M6 Drop. If I were you, I would definitely check him out on the gram at M6 Drop.